And there's a remarkable piece of history that you may not know about. It's a story of generosity spanning 2 centuries and 2 continents that came back into the spotlight thanks to a single tweet. Take a look.
Since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, the Navajo and Hopi nations have been hit especially hard. Poverty and a lack of adequate medical services have made containing the virus difficult.
The CDC and WHO are saying you need to wash your hands to help protect yourself. Well, a third of our community members can't wash their hands because they don't have clean drinking water or running water.
In March, former Navajo Nation Attorney General Ethel Branch established a relief fund to provide food and supplies to her nation. Her efforts caught the attention of Navajo-born NASA engineer Aaron Yossi.
And so when the COVID outbreak happened and I was just seeing remotely what was happening there, it really hurt inside that I couldn't do more.
In May, he tweeted out the link, writing, "The Navajo Nation has more confirmed cases per capita of COVID-19 than 48 U.S. states. Help if you can."
Maybe a day or 2 later, it had completely blown up.
One of our leadership members who started noticing that we were receiving donations, a large sum of donations from Ireland. And she's like, "What's going on? Is our account being hacked?"
Donations included brief messages of support, like from Ireland with love. You helped us when no one else did.
And that's when I had to look into it and actually figure out what all of this was referring to.
It turns out this outpouring of support was an act of gratitude over 170 years in the making. In 1847, another indigenous population, the Choctaw tribe, was still reeling from the trauma of their forced relocation from Mississippi to what is now Oklahoma and the tragedy known as the Trail of Tears.
It was just, lack of food. There was a lot of diseases and burdens. So a lot of our people, we lost over 1/4 of our population on the Trail of Tears.
Soon after they settled, the Choctaws learned of the devastating impact of the potato famine in Ireland.
You've got several million people who are really effectively either homeless or living in the most meager conditions. And what happens is over the course of the famine, 2 million people will disappear from Ireland. Either they die or they emigrate abroad.
And a surprise act of generosity brought them together.
Our tribal members at that time, they literally in their own pockets dug out $170 and sent it to the people of Ireland to help them during the Irish potato famine.
The donation became known as the Choctaw Gift and created an unbreakable bond, represented today by Alex Pintek's majestic sculpture, Kindred Spirits, in Cork, Ireland. And it's what inspired Naomi O'Leary, a journalist for the Irish Times, to retweet Aaron Yossi's message, asking for help from the Navajo and the Hopi nations.
I thought it seemed historically appropriate that, Irish people should give back to Native Americans. So without thinking very much about it, I retweeted the appeal and it just started taking off. There were some older people in Ireland who aren't as au fait with the internet, sending me things like cash in the post or checks, trying to donate.
In just a few weeks, 26,500 Irish citizens sent nearly $1 million to the GoFundMe, which has helped serve over 30,000 Navajo and Hopi households.
You can see all of the names, many of the names were Irish people. It was all Connollys and Moores and O'Briens and so on.
It links us all back to a common humanity, and it is a bond between our 2 nations, yes, but it's a bond that is for once forged not in bloody war, but through kindness and generosity.
It's like one of those amazing things that can happen in history across the world that really connected 2 incredible groups of people.
Ireland stands by you in your fight against the pandemic, and that you have friends, albeit far away.
Yakoki, which is thank you very much for just paying honor to our Choctaw people, to our ancestors, for the gift that they gave.
Very often our issues are invisible here in the United States or silenced. And so I just want to say thank you very much for helping us feel seen, for helping us feel heard,
and for supporting us during this difficult time. It's something we'll never forget.